What's up, everybody? Graphic content. This is a special episode on Who That Comics, and we have my buddy.
Boston Chris Comics.
Yes, sir. Just to let everybody know, I'm probably gonna keep the camera off. I'm like ice on my back. Just had a little procedure done, but I am a-okay. A little tired, sore, but it's all right. But I just wanted to do this because I wanted to talk some Ahsoka finale and some episode one of Loki, which was actually really enjoyable. Um, so, hey, if anybody in the chat wants to ask any questions, drop the questions. If people who we know already sent the link out to some of buddies on the hunt, if you guys want to jump on and talk, either or is more than welcome. So this will be spoilers. I would say definitely for Ahsoka. So let people know spoilers for Ahsoka. Probably won't say spoilers in Loki. We'll probably talk around things, but just in case, if you don't want to, if you haven't watched the show, you can, tune that last part out when we get to Loki. But that's going to be the last thing we talk about because it just came out literally like an hour ago.
Yeah.
But Ahsoka, Chris, what did you think? Finale.
I thought it was good. I liked it. It wasn't specific. Let me say it like this. I thought it was good. I liked it. I thought it was as far as the show was great. The finale, the final episode, I think was good. As far as where it is going, I had a feeling it was gonna end the way it did, leaving off on a cliffhanger, just because that it makes sense. You know what I mean? They're trying to build, I guess, more into that whole, the whole, I guess, connected universe of the Star Wars shows, and then the movies as well. So I mean, I think they did a good job with it. I think there was a couple things that happened in the finale that weren't that weren't really Star Wars. I'm not gonna say that they weren't that they were out of place for Star Wars. Let's put it that way, because I've never seen anything like this happen. But then again, too, I mean, the thing I can say is outside of the um was it the video game that they had, the Jedi video game, the last one, you wouldn't know. Actually, you know what? So you've never seen it happen within a show or a movie before where they've done this. But if you played the video games, the Jedi Survivor video game, if you played that, you'll understand the Witches of Dathomir a little bit more, and you'll kind of understand why things happen in that way. So if you never played the games, and you're probably like me, like, what the hell are they doing this for? So I played it and I understand it. I get it. It's just it doesn't quite fit in Star Wars just because it's never really happened before.
Yeah. So what I thought overall, I enjoyed the show, the whole series, I should say. Overall,
Yeah,
I enjoyed the whole series.
yeah,
The
it's a very
finale,
strong
the
story.
finale, the finale. I kind of figured they weren't going to kill anybody off.
Hmm.
Anybody that we want to see more of, besides one death. And who knows to say if that person actually really is dead? Let's just be honest.
Yeah,
Uh, how this episode kind of went along. So but this episode left a lot a lot more to be wanted in the future. Basically, it left a lot of stuff open ended. No, nothing was really, I think, solved besides Ezra and Thrawn getting back home. I think that's the only thing that was solved.
yeah.
But yeah, it was. I think it was overall good. I
Mhm.
It left it open for a season two.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so and then guess what? The season two actually doesn't have to be that long. It actually could be like a short season two with them just getting off that planet and doing a couple of things to whatever they got to do to get off the planet. They actually be like a 4 episode short if they wanted to do it. So like it could be a season two or a season 1.5, however you want to call it. I think they kind of have to because if you're trying to do a movie with these characters and some of the Mando characters, I think it's going to it's going to feel like it's rushed. The movie is gonna feel rushed.
Yeah,
So somebody has to have another season, even if it's Mando, and Mando, or it could be a Mando slash Ahsoka season. Uh, start off with Mando, and he has a mission to get Ahsoka, and because of Thrawn and or whatever have you, and then the last 2 episodes, 3 episodes with Ahsoka, and they're getting back or whatever, something. But I think this still needs either a combination season or a short of hers or something to lead into this movie that they want to do, because we know the threat is there now. But guess what? Two of the major players that going to help to fight this threat are not going to be there. So you can't try to force that in a movie, and because I say the movie's 2.5 hours. Let's say, like, I'll give it 2.5. Um, that's still, you're gonna spend 30 minutes. You got to spend 30 minutes of that movie trying to do that part, unless you rush it in 5 minutes, where people are gonna be like, really, And then you got other characters that are on that planet that didn't die as well. What are their stories about? So
yeah.
what is that going to lead to? So it's a lot. It's a lot left open. That's why I'm like, it has to be another season. It could be a short season. Like, it doesn't have to be 8 episodes, but you still need something. You still need, like, to be
I
another
don't know
two
if they
hours,
would do
two
it.
hours of shows.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they would do a shorter one, just for the fact that if they're gonna put the money into it, that they're probably gonna do, they'll probably give enough, or they'll probably do like the same, number of episodes, something of that nature, just so they kind of keep it like close. But, I think that, I mean, that's just my thoughts
this
on it.
this guy was in Loki season 2. This guy, like, he who reigns.
Oh,
What's
They,
going
they they
on,
mentioned
man?
it much.
Hey, how you doing? He who remains, channel member. Shout out to him. I got to do the giveaway soon. He who remains. If I have time this weekend, I'll be doing it. So be on the lookout for the giveaway, because you're a part of being a channel member. And then I'm doing a big giveaway. I think for the next, I'm gonna do probably 3 months. Well, let's do it all the way through December. But there's gonna be some big books. Big books. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Said.
What was I
Yeah,
saying?
everybody got the ending wrong. He says, I'm good. Yeah, we good. I'm good. I had a little procedure done, so I just chilling with some ice on my back while we talk about this, because I can easily talk and just not in a great position to be on camera. Yeah, I think the show. Yeah, probably everybody. I don't know who other people thought the ending was going to be for Ahsoka. It only had one episode. Um, they only had this episode left, so I don't know whether people thought it could have been, especially with the episode being on like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Um, so I knew it was going to be open a little bit. I didn't think anybody major was going to die. Um, so yeah,
No, I don't think everyone's gonna die specifically. I just think that,
oh yeah,
I
rest
think,
in peace, Ray Stevenson. Yeah, he passed away. He didn't even get to see the whole show play out. So
yeah. I mean, they'll do something where like they're gonna have to write him off, just
I
because of
think
the
I
fact.
think they're going to recast him. I hate to say it.
Maybe,
I think they're going to
maybe.
recast him because his
I
story
mean,
his story had a lot more to be told.
yeah.
Unless they just make you forget, be like, don't mention him at all. What's up, Callie? If you want to join,
Um,
Callie, you're more than welcome to join the talk a little bit.
I think that, I mean, as far as, I mean, really, it seems like they, like, even though they're gonna tell more with his story, it seems like that, I mean, I think a lot of the people mostly want to see, his apprentice, just because, it's one of those things where they're kind of like, oh, like, who's this girl, like, what's up with her, and then, uh the interesting thing about those two is that they're not really Sith per se. Just
Mm-hmm.
they're more mercenaries than anything else. So they're not really Sith. But they're Jedi, but not part of the Order. So they're kind of like Ahsoka, but they've embraced the dark side more. And, it looks like it's gonna be, kind of cool to see. I mean, there's definitely gonna be some sort of redemption arc within there, and I think that, if I was to have a guess, it's probably gonna be that girl that ends up being redeemed because she's, a younger character. Either that, or maybe Ray Stevens' character, would have the redemption arc, and then she'll end up killing him because, he becomes a hypocrite. I don't know. You never know. But I think that the the show itself though is really good. You know, the thing that I think that a lot of people, and I find it kind of interesting too, is that like people I think are gonna have a little bit more time, I guess, to see if they're gonna bring in those Dathomir witches more, to see like what they do and what they're all about. Just because I know that my only exposure to those characters or those type of characters was in that game. So other than that, I've never heard of it. So I think that that's kind of cool that they're expanding the universe a little bit more, and just kind of giving more characters some spotlight, that like, oh, they're not Jedi, they're not Sith, like, but there's other things that are, I guess, supernatural that exist out in the Star Wars universe that George Lucas never highlighted before, just because but they exist in like the books and stuff, like they exist in the grander scheme of everything. He just like those just weren't the focus of his movies.
Hmm. I don't see. I don't know. See, I read this a couple times because I haven't watched the Clone Wars show or a Rebel show. But been told I think it's a Clone Wars show you should watch. I think is a Rebels. One of them they say you should watch for this
Yeah.
series. But whatever one it is, I haven't watched yet. It's a lot of episodes. First of all, I don't get that comment he remains. No, I don't get it because I like how they develop her and how she was struggling, and how they explain the Jedi to Jedi with the Force, which we kind of knew that before. Everybody has the Force, and it just some people it's harder to get. Some people easily can get it out. Some people it takes a lot of training. So I mean, Clone Side, but you need all right. Rebels is the one they say to watch. All right, but I like and it doesn't say she's a Jedi. If you realize that, the only one that kind of think they meant saying he's a Jedi is Ezra, because
Yeah.
Ahsoka, she says it many times in different shows. I don't know if she said. I think she said it on this show as well. She's no Jedi. She's not a Jedi.
Yeah.
She's not a Sith or a Jedi. She just is what she is. And I think Sabine will be the same thing. She's
I
not
mean,
going
it
to be a
seems like
Jedi.
it, because like
She's not going to be a
she's
Jedi.
still using blasters.
Yeah, and not just that, she has a little bit that Mandalorian in her. If that means that kind of like that anger, but not anger in an evil way. If that makes any sense. So I don't think she's. I think she's going to be just like Ahsoko. I think she's going to be. Eventually, she's going to be like, well, my master was not a Jedi. I'm not a Jedi. The only one who says they say he was Ezra. Because he was actually trained by a Jedi who is Kanan.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I'm getting at. I'm not the historian or Star Wars to let people know. I don't watch anything and everything Star Wars. I get that he has no Force sensitive in the cartoons. Well, no, in that show they actually said earlier, everybody has the Force in them. The kids who have Force sensitive. This is what they said in the show. You can correct me if I'm wrong. They said everybody has the Force in them. Kids who show Force sensitivity at a young age, those are the ones they want, because they want people who are easy to train. They want easy to train people.
Yeah, that's how that all went. That's why when you looked at, if you look back to Star Wars in general, when they brought Anakin, like, he's too old, he can't, and then the same thing with when what's it called, Obi-Wan,
Luke too.
Luke, he's like he's too old, he can't, and that's just Yoda being, Yoda's trying to test him out to see what kind of patience he has, but then you have the other thing too, like, I mean, and I know a lot of people, aren't fans of, the whole last three movies, but The Force Awakens, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you want to talk about a cop out. You pretty much set up in that movie for Finn to also be either.
They actually show that he has Force sensitive. They actually show
it. He was Force sensitive and should have been trained as a Jedi as well, regardless of where it all came down. But he should have been, because when you watch that again, like, if you watch, there's even YouTube videos about it where it's like there's been an awakening, what's it called? Kylo Ren looks right at him, so he like that. That's the whole thing. Like his force came out of nowhere, and it's like oh, and then he looks dead at him, and he's like oh, this thing, and then like he can sense what's it called when
He can
whenever
sense the
Rey's in
force.
trouble, he can sense it. You know what I mean? He picked up a lightsaber and started battle, and he didn't win all that well, but like it's one of those things where it's like like they've done in a way the people that write the show or that write the Star Wars have basically made it so that you can put Jedi on anybody. It's just you can put force sensitivity into anybody. It's just the situation of that like how do you pick and choose it, who gets it, who doesn't. um but I mean, I think that in terms of Sabine, and I really don't like. I've never watched Rebels or any of that, so I don't know this cat. This is my first time actually seeing her, but like you can tell that she Russ was saying that like she still got some of that what's it called, the Mandalorian spirit is still there, just because when she's on that platform and she's battling all those things, when she's battling with Ezra, like she picks up her helmet, like she looks on the ground, oh my helmet. So she still holds that more digits because that's who she is. She's a Mandalorian. So and I think that's going to be the link between her and her and Mando in the series. Like that's how they're going to kind of be able to join forces and be like, oh, like my ways, I know yours. This is how we're going to be, and she's
Yeah,
going to
and
probably
and
realize
she
that.
and I think they said, well, I don't know if they said in the series or they said, I think that robot said it, because I think there's only been one Mandalorian who ever had the Force, if I'm not mistaken. I think the robot said it. I have to watch the series again as a whole,
Yeah,
honestly, because I actually enjoyed it, and it's one of those things I want to watch again and listen to the other, the side talk, not pay
yeah,
attention to what's in front of me, listen to what the robots, because he said a lot of stuff that was very interesting, but you don't catch it because, like for instance, Ezra's building his lightsaber and talking and doing and he's trying to tell stuff. You have to pay attention. Which luckily I did catch the part where he was building his lightsaber to be just like Kanan, his master.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's I want to rewatch it just to listen to stuff in the background, watch stuff in the background because yeah, I think they mentioned that she was going to be hard to train because she's Mandalorian, and the last time they had a last four since of the Mandalorian was like years ago, or whatever, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And the thing is that like it's funny because like in the old Republic video games, like they talk about how like there was there was a war between the Jedi's and the Mandalorians at one point, where it's just like that the Mandalorians actually were very capable against Jedi. Where it's like I mean I know they did that for the game to make it like oh like once you come across a Mandalorian you better watch yourself because they're tough. But I mean it's just that whole series, that whole I guess way of life and way of thinking is very different from what the Jedi do. So of course they naturally would clash. So if you're trying to teach somebody how to be, a Jedi or the Jedi way, who was brought up as, a Mandalorian, it's like it's not going to connect or click. But would they take the training though to become a more efficient killer and everything? Absolutely, because like I mean that's what makes everything good. It's just like So I think that her character kind of being, one foot in both kind of ponds helps out a little bit. I think that makes it cool. But I mean, like I said, like this is my only knowing of this character. I never got a chance to watch the other stuff. I would go back and watch the other stuff. I just haven't had a chance to. So
But I did like the buildup of her doing the stuff for the Force. I like that it didn't make it easy for her.
yeah. Well, you also
When she did the little things, and then certain
yeah
things they did building up to this, like I think was it the episode before this episode, but they did certain things in which he's like he said, Ezra, hold the door, and then she goes, Sabine, help. I think it was this episode. Sabine, help him, and you're like,
yeah. She's like, help us.
and you're like, is she helping? You're like, you don't know if she's really helping,
Yeah
then so other things, and you're like, I don't know yet. And then the final thing is, when you finally see it is when she gets her lightsaber back to
yeah.
her, which
Well, then too, when
you could say that's her Mandalorian training that kind of triggered her force, but or you could say whatever it is, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, she's gonna be a formidable person with the Force because of her skills being Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I think that like, the cool thing with that too was that like now where you'd have me on board with you would have been after she helped push Ezra up to get into the ship, or at least get to that ship. If she, because she was supposed to like, oh, like you push me and then I'll help you get up or whatever. If she had ran and jumped and gotten on the ship, then I'd be okay. I would agree with He Who Remains at that point where it's like, all right, so you have somebody, because I mean that's basically Ray all over again, where it's like, all right, you have somebody that doesn't that get told that you got the Force, you play with it a little bit, and now all of a sudden you're a master at it. No, that's not how it gets. But um, you know,
yeah, I
I
agree with you on that one. he said he
you
said
know,
choked to death by a dark zombie trooper. Yeah, that's what really completely unlocked it. You
oh
know what I
yeah,
mean?
of course, because that was, and you know what's funny? That's the thing I said that like doesn't really fit into that doesn't really fit into Star Wars. I guess like I've never seen. There's never been anything in any kind of um show or movie that I've ever seen where you just had something just resurrect dead people like that, like kind of like the Night King would in Game of Thrones, like but the Witches of Dathomir did that. And the funny part is that like if you play the Jedi Survivor game, then I mean it took me a little bit to because I didn't put two and two together actually until we started talking about it, but now I realize it. If you play that game, like there is you have to kill the witch just because that's what will happen, like it shows up there and resurrect everything to come back up. And it's just like one of those things where it's different, it's a little out of place in Star Wars just because you've never seen that before. But I hope that's not something that they lean into a lot, because that would get to be kind of annoying, and that was one of the things that did kind of bug me a little bit while I was watching it, because it's like, all right, they killed all the stormtroopers once, then they get resurrected, and they kill a bunch of them all again, and then they keep coming back. It's like they went through them like three times before they realized we should just run, because this is like we're on a time crunch and we're being stuck, like we're being basically distracted
Yeah,
just so that this
that's
guy can get
basically
away.
that's what they wanted them to do, be distracted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
because
like stop trying to kill the
yeah,
same people the same way. Like just run. Like
yeah, if you're not gonna cut their heads off, you might just want to
yeah.
run.
But
but yeah, like I enjoy. I like the part where the jumping onto the ship. That
yeah,
it made sense for him to do it, not her. But like you said, if she would have did it, and used the force to get damn near all the way by herself, and then he just had to push her a little bit, that would have been like, come on, really, But it made sense for Ezra to kind of jump and get more than halfway there,
yeah,
and she used
and
a
it's
little
good.
bit to push.
Yeah, well, it was good that she didn't like get him right onto the platform too, just because of the fact where it's just like again that might have been over showcasing the fact that, oh, and I'm gonna do this one, like the biggest thing I've ever done with the Force, I'm gonna do it perfectly. It's like no, like it's good that there was a little bit like that he like just barely made it on. It's like okay, like you're at least being like realistic with it, where it's just like you made an effort, and of course you don't know, it's your first time doing something that big, you don't know how to judge it. Like either it should have been one of two things: either she overshot it, you know and threw him too far, or it was oh, it wasn't enough, and maybe he, I mean by luck he just barely makes it. But if not, oh, it wasn't enough, and he completely misses, like that. That's just because I mean, if you think about anything, if you think about just basketball or anything like that, like your first time shooting a shot, even if you have it, the rim set the exact way you need it, your first time shooting, you're either going to shoot it and completely miss, or you're going to end up, either shooting it too hard, whatever. So it's just like, it takes practice to understand, okay, this is exactly how much I need to go ahead and get this ball in from this distance. So that's what I think. I think,
I,
here they
I,
kill off the
I,
main.
I, I wasn't rooting for Thrawn, but he felt very menacing. And him moving
Yeah,
slowly was very strategic that we don't even know, because that cargo he was bringing back was very important. And we don't even
yeah.
know what's in it. We do not know what's in that cargo for it to
And
be
he
that
never he
important.
never seemed distressed either. He was never like, make sure they're dead. He was always just like, kill them if you can. Yeah,
We can't,
we
but
just need to worry about
we just need time. We just need time.
that. Yeah,
Like he
and then
was not
even
stressed. He was very strategic. He knew what he
yeah,
needed to do every step of the way. That actually, that slowness that you felt was very. That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted.
yeah,
If he wanted to go fast, he could have, but he did not, and
yeah.
that's why he did it that way. But I kind of agree. Well, I don't agree with the. We got a lot of her backstory in the show and in other stuff, so we didn't need her backstory. But I was surprised they killed her off. I do agree with that. I thought
Well,
she would be a big factor in the future as well because
well,
she
that's
just
the
got
thing.
powers. Come on, she just got.
Yeah, but you don't know that she's actually dead, though. I mean,
Yeah, that
she's
too.
dead.
Yeah,
Okay, fine, but like, I mean, could they bring her back? And that's the other thing too. Are they gonna bring her back and she's gonna be a mindless drone, or are they gonna be able to bring her back and make her actually like back to who she was before? So it's just like, that's the thing that I'm not clear on. Just because I mean, there's not a lot of explanation on that. So I think if you try to look into that, or if you try to look it up, I mean, I haven't done the research, but I don't know if there's a lot that are big. Oh, Witches of Dathomir. This is what they do. This is the night. There's two things. They're called Night Sisters and Witches of Dathomir. So it's just like if you look it up, there may be a little bit more information, but I don't know how much really they've expanded on it. So you
yeah,
know,
and she became a sister when they gave her those powers too.
yeah. So I mean, was she? What was she? I mean, and that's the thing too. That's kind of weird. It's just like where it's just like, oh, you go do it. Where it's just like, wait a minute, I just got these powers. I'm why don't you send something else? Like
Send
you
some more
have,
troopers to the lake.
yeah. It's like let me get used to these new powers before I start trying to fight somebody. But I mean, I give her a credit though. She was no slouch with that sword. I mean, she broke one of Ahsoka's lightsabers.
Yeah, she broke the big lightsaber, not the small one.
Yeah. So I mean, she
So
wasn't she wasn't helpless at all. Like it wasn't like so she's skilled and she knows how to fight, which was pretty cool to see. And I mean, there was a point where she looked like she was winning that fight, and it was just
it was until Sabine showed up.
yeah. So it's just like it's kind of it's I think that's something where even though she's hurt and they say she's dead, I think that they're gonna be able to find a way to bring her back, or at least heal her up so that she can come back and be something else. But maybe she'll be more of a night sister than she was her own personality. You know what I mean? She'll be a little bit different from what she was initially. That's just what I think. I don't know.
Yeah, it's curious to. But yeah, I'm actually excited. I'm not even a big Star Wars fan, but Mandalorian show, Ahsoka show, got me into the Star Wars verse more than the previous movies. Even though I watched the
Mhm.
previous movies, which I didn't think were overall all bad, but they weren't great. And then Andor, I like the Andor, so
Yeah.
it's like building up for me more and more. So I'm actually very curious to see what's the next step. We don't know exactly. We know what the end game is. Point
Yeah.
on talk about Loki, but we know what the end game for this universe for Star Wars is that movie, and we don't know if it's going to be titled Mandalorian or something else, Star Wars something, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be titled something, but it's going to deal with all those characters from Mandalorian, Ahsoka. So it's
Yeah.
very good. The only thing I think we know we're getting, I know we're getting a Andor season 2.
Yeah,
I
which
know
is
we
weird.
get,
I mean,
you know,
I shouldn't say it's weird. Like how that's gonna end. It's like he's gonna get blown up on that beach, like with what's the name with that girl. So that's gonna be But I mean that's the hard part with any kind of prequel. I mean just because when you really think about it, it's just like where Star Wars is right now. Um, with Ray and all that stuff. It's just like if you're gonna go with that, I mean, the Mandalorian and everything is taking place after the Empire Strikes Back. Sorry, after the Return of the Jedi. So it's just like there's a good chance that all those characters are either dead or very very old. So it's just like you know, um, there's certain things that you can do to fill in the blanks that kind of help that make it kind of cool. But Sometimes too, there's also times where you're gonna make a show, and if you're gonna make a prequel or something that kind of falls in between, where you know the story ending, it's kind of, it takes away from it, because like, well, I mean, I know where this is gonna go, so what, all this stuff in the middle doesn't make any sense, doesn't make a difference. Like, um, I would say a great example of it working in favor would be, like the Obi-Wan series was good as far as a TV example. From a comic example, a great example is the Darth Vader comics, because I mean, as far as Darth Vader, his entire story. How he came up, where he lived as a kid, how he became a Jedi, how he fell to the dark side and became Darth Vader, and then how he redeemed himself for Return of the Jedi, and then died and everything like that. But it's just like his comic series though was really really good. It was actually surprisingly good. Where it's like, wow, there's a lot more to his story that nobody really thought about.
Yeah. Let me
So
see. Ahsoko, more of a Rebel season six. See, I don't know much about Rebels. That's why I can't agree or disagree with it. It had more of her in the show, so
yeah,
and more of her in
um,
the show. And we didn't get Ezra until the second to last season, second to last episode.
yeah,
So and we got him in the last episode. So I mean, you could kind of say it's a Ahsoka slash Sabine show.
yeah. I mean, what's funny is that, like, I mean, as far as how this is going to be received, as far as how the show is, I think overall it should be positive. I haven't heard or seen anybody saying anything negative about it, so I think that's a good thing. I think that people are generally excited to see where it's all going to go, and what they're going to do. With just those characters, just because the fact is, it's something that's it's something that's new, even though it's sandwiched between two other stories, two other, two trilogies. It's still gonna be something that people are gonna like to see, just because it's different from those, and really, it's kind of funny that a story, or stories that exist outside of the Skywalker saga per se, really are interesting, because it's like, all right, there's no specific Luke Skywalker stuff, even though there's been bits and pieces there, like you had Anakin's Force Ghost in this, you had a Luke Skywalker appearance in Mandalorian, um, but it's not focused centrally on the Skywalkers, specifically. It's just they're kind of existing in their own corners of the universe, doing their own thing, and they have kind of like you know yeah, they're in the universe, but we're not worried about them right now. We're just kind of doing our own thing.
Uh-huh. Let's see, this is- Oh, he's talking the Rebels, Rebel
Yeah,
show. That's a lot of seasons. Just like you said, that's 5 seasons of Rebels, and I'm only
yeah,
laid up. I'm only laid up for one day. Like I'm not. I go back to work Monday, so yeah, I'm not. It's not like I have a I have like a week free to
yeah,
watch that because yeah, I know I'll probably need more than one day. Um, to watch it. So yeah, it'll be something that's going to be a slow process that I'm not even going to rush to try to get done. It's going to be something that I'm like, oh, I got a couple of hours free. Let me watch 2 episodes. You know,
yeah,
but yeah, it's because there's a lot of stuff actually I want to watch that I haven't got a chance to see, like Equalizer 3, talking about movies. So it's a lot of different things I want to watch. So
yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be one of
I
those
think,
things that whenever I have a little time, I watch an episode here and there.
yeah, like I have a bunch of stuff that on different platforms that I haven't watched, but as far as um, I've never seen Rebels as well, but I do think that one of the interesting things, just because you talk, like seeing on the Disney side, this is where they're going with that show. Another big franchise that is, um, I guess, getting ready to come to a close, um, is going to be Stranger Things. Like, they're still working on it and everything like that, obviously, just because of the strike. Um, but you know, the thing that's kind of funny is, you know, with a show that is popular as that show is, you know, um, Netflix plans on where they're gonna go after that. It's kind of curious because it's like, all right, this is a big show for them, like a real big show for them, and you know, what they're looking for to the future, like how they're gonna replace it or what they're gonna do with it or what they're gonna do after that, is kind of interesting. Like I read somewhere, I think it was Hollywood Reporter was saying about it, like their plan, I guess, for content or at least for um, series they're going to be leaning on after that is the Wednesday Addams show. That they're looking to have that, I guess, be one of their flagships. And then I guess the Duffer Brothers also have a couple of prequel projects for Stranger Things where, you know, they're going to be, I guess, trying to get those made. And one thing that I'm kind of, I alluded to it a little earlier, you know, is do you think that the prequels of Stranger Things would be something that people would want to watch, or is that kind of a mistake? Do you think that they're kind of overdoing it by saying, "Oh, we're gonna take you back even further"? Like, so before all this stuff happened, let's take you back to the way back to the big origins of everything. Just because I I'm kind of curious where people kind of stand with that. Like, would you be in to see a prequel series dealing with Stranger Things or the events that led up to certain characters or spin-offs from Stranger Things, or do you think that it should just be its own self-contained show and just end it where wherever season was it season I think the fifth season, wherever the season 5 or whatever the last season is going to be, you think that should be it and just kind of leave it as it is?
Yeah, I don't know because I actually haven't watched the last season.
Oh wow,
Yeah, so I
it's good. It's
and
good, but
then
it's very long.
yeah, and it's a show I would love to watch with my wife, but um, it's us watching stuff together so hard with our work
Yeah,
schedules.
yeah,
But it's so I kind of put it off, and then I had no motivation to watch it. And not saying I'm
no,
not going to watch it, I will watch it,
it's
but
good.
I could tell
It's
you it's
really
probably
good.
gonna yeah.
Where did you leave off at? Like
I
where
didn't
you?
watch. I didn't. I saw everything up until the last season. Like
Okay,
well, you should say that the last season is broken up into two parts. I hadn't
yeah,
watched
yeah.
any. I hadn't watched any of those. So I watched everything
So,
up until that point.
so the thing that I'll say about it is this: is that like it's really good. It's just the last season when I say it's really long, like the last episode is basically like a movie. It's like 2 hours long, and then the episode before that is like an hour, and I think it's over an hour. But like it's good though. It's like it's really good, and it's one of those like at least for me, it's like it's like a it's almost like a book you can't put down. Where it's like, all right, I'm gonna just get to this one last chapter, and then like, oh wow, like I may keep going. You know what I mean? So it's really good. It's just if you're gonna try to block out time to watch it together, I mean, you can do the first couple episodes or the first half of it. You can do it no problem, but like the second half is like you really gotta sit there and be like, all right, gonna need a solid 2 hours to watch the show today. You know what I mean? So it's just like it takes a while to gotta get everything together and do that. But I mean, it's definitely good. It's just it's an investment as far as time is concerned.
Yeah, I know the second season you gotta have like 4 or 5 hours free to watch
Yeah,
second season, but yeah, I'm eventually get it done. It's just like the He Who Remains talk about the Rebels. It's a lot that I want to watch. I have more I want to watch than time I have, so it's just gonna take time to watch all the stuff I want to watch. If that makes sense. So
yeah,
yeah, it'll happen. Um, it's just gonna be a little slow burn, and then if stuff that I really want to watch, like Loki, comes out, that's gonna take precedent every week on that day. So so it's like I'll be able to knock out. So what's up, Hood Rat Comic? What's up, Hood Rat and Chef? Shout out to Chef. Appreciate you stopping through. Please leave a thumbs up. So I'll give overall real quick overall Ahsoko show. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 overall. The whole show, not the finale.
yeah.
Whole show 8.5. Just because really nothing was resolved, so that's one reason I got an 8.5.
Hmm.
Um, besides them finding Ezra. That's the only thing we resolved. But the action I was happy with, and everything else I was happy with. Me not being a Star Wars aficionado, I was very happy with because it explains some stuff. Some stuff I had questions with, which like can easily be watched with the Rebel show, which comes to find out it's not that long of episodes. So I give overall the season an 8.5. The last episode, I'm going to give it a probably an 8. A solid 8 though. Not like it was no. And I mean I'm doing 8 out of 10 type of stuff. So I think it was a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so.
I think the overall season was when you add up all some of the episodes that weren't too good and some of the episodes that really were good. I think it comes out to about 8.5. So overall,
Yeah,
8.5, 8 I give for the last show.
I agree with that. I think that's accurate.
Yeah, because and it's not like I always have to say it over and over. It's not saying the show wasn't good to there's just certain things I think could have made it a little bit better. And certain things I wouldn't have did that I think would have made it a little bit better. Like killing Morgan, I think didn't make it better. I think that part didn't make it better. Um, I don't think she had more of a story to tell, but I think her story had more to grow as she became a sister of the witches.
Mm.
So I think a little bit more could have been used out of her. Um, like I said, nothing was really resolved besides finding Ezra and getting Ezra home. But they're still lost. So
Yeah,
that's what I think. That's what Chris seems to agree with me. So I don't know what
yeah,
you guys in the chat would think. He who remains kind of he agreed with my rating as
yeah. I
well.
mean, because there was a lot of people that, I mean, if you looked at different places, Instagram and stuff like that, like there, there were certain episodes of people like, oh, this is 10 out of 10 and all that, and really, it's hard to say that about anything. I'm like, oh, this is absolutely perfect. There's nothing else that could have been done to make it better. You know what I mean? So, but it was definitely solid. It's definitely something that they can build, or that they're going to build on and make something really, I think, special with. But as far as giving it like overvaluing it and saying it's better than it is, I think that does need to really be in the conversation. Just solid, 8 out of 10 is I think
I,
perfectly
I,
describes where it should be.
I can answer this question, Chef, just being by because I've paid attention to these last 2 episodes. And not saying you didn't. Um, Ezra said he didn't need the lights. He gave her that lightsaber. He pretty much gifted it to her and was like, "That's not mine anymore. That's yours. You've been training, blah blah blah. That's your lightsaber. It's not mine anymore." That's why he said he didn't need a lightsaber because they only had one at that moment. And then next episode, he builds one because of his former master, and they had a robot on there who knew how to build them. They had a whole supply of how to build the lightsaber. So yes, he's gonna build one in the next episode because he has all the tools to do one. And it made, but the first episode kind of explains why he didn't need one. It's not that he didn't need one; he didn't want her lightsaber. It said no explanation of the dark or gray Jedi. What that left it open. That she went to the rebels of that planet or the thieves or whatever you want to call it. He's on a
Yeah,
quest that we still do not know the fullness of the quest. He's on a quest actually to stop the rehashing of Empire, Jedi, Rebels. He said he thinks he can stop that from going over and over again. That's what I remember him saying on one of the show. So I think they could have made the temps of more side story. Yeah, I think that they didn't. I think there's going to be more for that in the future. Ezra's still in the friend zone. He was always in the friend zone. Um, you got to remember, Jedi's can't fall in love, and he is a Jedi. She's not, but he is. What's up, Christina Payne? It's Christina Payne, one of the people who vote on the hunt. Thank you for stopping through. Please smash that thumbs up button, and hopefully see you on the hunt coming up as well. This is look, she was giving her. Stop it! Stop it! It said the witches farted out a sword from Morgan. No explanation unless you watch Clone Wars. Oh, uh, well, they farted it out, and you didn't. You need to watch Clone Wars the explanation. That's why I was like. That's why I said from a person who doesn't know all of this, and I'm answering for other people who might not know all of this. That's why I said killing her off was a waste. That's why I said I'll eventually go back and watch Clone Wars, but not even Clone Wars. I'm gonna watch Rebels. So if I gotta watch Clone Wars, then you're definitely gonna be a while. But yeah, you gotta have more explanation for it because everybody doesn't watch everything. Let's see what it says. Powers. Ahsoka acts of being to help Ezra to open a door with Force and Sabine. No, well, look, that part we actually talked about that show. You joined in after we talked about it. I kind of said Ahsoka acts of being to help Ezra open the door. We have no evidence that she helped him open the door. She was trying. We don't know if she did, but that's what we thought. He said, "Look how long it took Luke. It didn't take Luke that long. It took what, one movie? How long did it take Luke to be a Jedi, Chris? It was one movie?
Pretty much. I mean, well,
Yeah.
he got the lightsaber from Obi-Wan in the first movie, and then it was basically in the same spot as that chick was. Like, the only thing he did in the beginning of Empire was fishing out of the snow or the ice, and then cut himself down, and then after that he had to train with Yoda for a while, and then he was ready to go.
Yeah, so basically after the first movie, we could say Luke was a Jedi. You could kind of say Sabine took the same length because it took her 8 episodes, and the episodes were between 50 and 45 minutes. So actually, it took her longer if you go by time wise. And again, Chef, like we said before, she's getting trained by Ahsoka. Ahsoka says she's not a Jedi, and I believe Sabine will go along with the same answer. She will not be a Jedi. She will be, she won't be a Sith. She won't be a Jedi. She'll just be same thing as Ahsoka Tara.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is too is just like as
What
much
Thrawn has to escape again because of the movie.
well, no, but as much as everybody's gonna sit there and say like, oh, like, well, that she just basically learned how to be a Jedi over the course of a weekend. I mean, like, as much as we're looking at these as TV shows and this is just quick, like, it's I think implied that it was you're talking periods of like months that took for her. So basically from the start of the show till the end, was probably close to either a year or maybe even a month. I mean, I would say honestly, I think that Empire, from the time that you have A New Hope to Empire, a few years have passed, and then you have the time that he's training with Yoda and everything like that. That's probably, I don't want to say years, but it's probably like a few months, and it's just like, all right, so let's say it's 8 months, and it should have been a year. You know what I mean? You have to kind of factor that in. I know a lot of people don't like to do that and be like, oh, well, see, within this course of a movie, they learned everything. It's like, yeah, but there's time.
They kind of give you that as well. So you shouldn't have to. You should kind of feel that after watching certain parts. Like, all right, Ahsoka follows them in the Star Whales literally minutes after they left, and it seemed like she arrived days later. The reason why I say that is because they set up a minefield. You can't set up a minefield in a second. They set up a whole minefield.
I mean, honestly, it's probably longer than that because it's like, all right, look at this journey. How long is it going to take? You know what I mean? Because that's the thing that I think a lot of people overlook, and it's like, and that's natural that you would, but the thing is just that, like, a lot of times, that there's, like no one's gonna say, oh, it's been 3 weeks since we last saw them. I mean, sometimes they'll say that in the movie, but like, even if you go to Empire, like when they go into the asteroid field, and then and Han Solo and them are hanging out, they're doing bombing raids on the different asteroids to try to get get them to come out or just see if they find anything. It's just like, it's not like they just started doing that like 15 minutes after they lost them. Like they, it's probably been like at least like 3, 4, 5 days, and they're like, all right, like we don't see these fucking guys. All right, see you later. Whatever. We'll find them later. Like it's not like something like where it's like, oh well, they just gave up after 10 minutes because they're just impatient. Like there's always more to it, but it's just in terms of the amount of time that we have for screen time versus the amount of, and and the fact that they're not going to tell us how much time has passed between point A to point B. Like you're going to have that whole thing where you're not quite sure how long it was been and everything like that. But
well, yeah, so they might take not specifically. That's what, and that's like you said. Some people need that specific, but they do things that you just got to pay attention to. Like when Ahsoko was knocked unconscious, they're looking for her for hours because your boy even said, the guy who was helping them saying, look, we have to go. We can't be here any longer. It's been blah, blah, blah. We've been out here for so long.
Yeah.
He actually said, I don't think he said the exact time, but he's basically said how they've been there too long and they're going to start questioning stuff.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they were there for 5 minutes.
Well, exactly.
So they do talk, they do say it. It's just that we don't realize it because everything's played out all in a straight line.
Well, here's a good. All right, so here's a good, I guess, pot to look at it. Like if you watch any show, any show, where there's just passage of time that happens. Like you wouldn't know. Like if you watch an episode of Sopranos, you really don't know how much time has passed from the start of the show. Like it all didn't happen in one day. Like it's been a couple of weeks sometimes, or even a couple of months, where it's like, oh, like so this started here and now here you are at this point. But they just don't say it. So it's like, oh well, in a 1 hour show they went from this guy's over here now to this, and they shot that guy over. It's like it's a whole big
especially if it goes day to night or night to day. It's been more than one day.
Yeah, just in general. It's like, do you think they've done all that in one day? Like, do you really think that just because of sunlight out, it's like, okay, hi, I was talking to this guy over here, and then like, all right, so it's different. If it starts out and they're eating breakfast, and then you can follow it and like, okay, so now this is all one day. Okay, that makes sense. But like, usually it's just like a bunch of time passes between shows. It doesn't matter what show it is. Like even if you're watching what's it? Sitcom or something like that. It's just like it's not the same day from the day like when that show started. It's not the same day where the show ends. It's been a whole passage of time. So that's one thing that I think that a lot of people kind of take. Oh, they try to get real literal when they're watching something like that. Like, oh, this happened so quickly. Like, not really. Like if you really look at it. Because you got to think about how long they were actually on that planet for. It wasn't like they were on that planet for a day. They were on that planet for like it took a while for what's it called, Ahsoka, to get there, to get to Sabine and everything like that. It wasn't like she just found her the next day. It was like like you're talking probably a couple of weeks of travel for her to just get there. Then a couple of weeks. It took a while for everything to happen. It wasn't like
it took a whole day for him to load his ship, if you really remember, because it got
dark.
Oh,
it's probably longer than that. Like if you really think about it, he was there for a minute loading that shit after he found them people. It was like so it's just like you're talking about probably I don't know if I would say a month, but let's say a few weeks of him finding the shit that he needed to find. You know what I mean? Getting it together, loading it, putting it. It's just like it's more than just that passage of time that's on the show.
And that kind of goes back to her training, because at the first episode where the Ahsoka and Ahsoka and Sabine meet up again. It's like, I don't know, I think it was the first episode. She asked her, "Have you been training?" So she already got trained, and and so she's been training in the weapon side, but she hasn't been training in the force side of learning.
Yeah,
that stuff.
That's the side that she doesn't really know.
Yeah, so she's been training for a long time. It's just she didn't master the force. Like that's the only thing, and it took the whole show. When you think about it, let's see, every 2 shows is over an hour. But we'll just say every 2 shows in an hour. Well, I'll even decrease it for you. So you're saying it's been 4 hours, but it's really been closer to 6 hours of her learning the Force for his watch time. That's 6 hours of watch time, not time in the shows, not 6 hours of time in the shows, 6 hours of watch time. And the person who had the better answer is Dave Filoni, if people really need to know, because and he might answer, who knows? Because it's not something that's a spoiler or something bad. So he could answer. I know James Gunn's
Yeah.
loves answering that things, and I think Dave Filoni's kind of the same way. But yeah, it's 6 hours of TV time, or 6+ hours of TV time of her learning the Force side. She's had the weapon side down pat. So yeah, I think that's longer than Luke. So that answers the
I
questions
don't
of
know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say, but it's just like I think that like I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like really, when you get down to it, it's just like
it really does. As long as it was a good show, that's what actually matters. And I
yeah,
thought it was a good show. An 8 to an 8.5 for overall is a good show. And to me, anything under a 6 is not a good show. Yeah, and yeah. So yeah, but she unlocked it. Like I think He Who Remains said it earlier. She unlocked it because of near death. It wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah, she was getting choked out, but it was near death choking out. It was either she unlocked her Force abilities, which she had, because they said every being has the Force in them. They said that a few times. Every being has the Force in them. Some are just more Force sensitive than others, which that's the ones that Jedi's want to train because it's easier for them to train and control them. But yeah, so that's that. I want to talk a little Loki, if we
yeah,
can.
yeah.
Um, um, yeah, yeah, I agree with you, sir. But talk a little Loki and try not to talk about too much spoilers with the show. Which really, if we did talk spoilers, it wouldn't spoil anything, honestly. But um, this first episode is almost on a line of. He said, he said, He Remains says, I'm out. I haven't seen it. We're not gonna talk spoilers. He Remains. I kind of said that earlier. We're not gonna talk spoilers on Loki 1 because it just came out. We're just gonna give our overall thoughts and uh and probably some people who actually, to me, I felt stole the show a little bit in the first episode. Yeah, so you could stay. Um, like I said, we're not gonna say, "Oh, this would happen. This would happen," like we're doing with us with Ahsoko. We lost like 6 people saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Loki overall, I'll give the first episode a good 8, a good solid 8. I think it starts off on a good foot. It it doesn't give away too much. It brings back those characters you love, and it actually brings in a character you don't know much of anything about, and he actually stole a few scenes in the episode for me, which was I never can say his name, but I call him Short Round from Indiana Jones. He's an adult now, but his scenes were very good. Um, so like when he pops up in the show and you watch it, definitely don't leave to go get popcorn or a drink or whatever. Just watch this scene. When it cuts out off his scene, then go get you something. But yeah, when he's on the screen, it's actually really good, and I like how they played it on the show. Um, so like I said, good 8. I'm looking forward to the next episode. Um, I'm looking forward to more of He Who Remains or Kang. So and we don't know where what's her name? Can't even think of her name.
Sylvie.
Sylvie and Ravana Renslayer. We don't know where none of these
Yeah.
people are really located at. We kind of know we don't know where Sylvie's technically at. What timeline I mean in. Um, and Ravana Renslayer, we have no idea what her. So this I think is going to be good. It's going to hopefully answer those questions and leads into King Dynasty. So that's all I'm going to talk about the show. As far as I might say more things of overall grades, I think what the series might come. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say. What do you think?
Oh no, I think it was I think it was a 9. I would give it a 9. I thought it was good. I think that it did everything you said. I think that it was good in the way of that, like it brought back. I mean, like you say, brought back characters and everything like that, and then it was a good continuation on from where the other one left off. It didn't go too far to explain everything, obviously, but they did, go ahead and give you a great introduction to the show, to know that there's definitely been changes from the last time, and as far as everything is, you're not sure how deep those changes actually go. One thing I will say is that it's something that I think that you should probably watch more than once, just because of the fact that I have a feeling that you're going to need to be a little bit eagle-eyed and looking at, especially like the way the TVA is, the way that the TV, different things around the TVA. There's things that are going to give clues off as to where they're going and what's going to happen. And they already kind of did that. I mean, they did it kind of intentionally in the show. They showed you a couple of different things. It's like, oh, look, like this is what's going to happen. Like where Loki is kind of just kind of trying to explain his position, and he points to kind of a mural on the wall, saying, this is what's going to come, and it's something where it's just like, okay, what else is in there? Because there's a lot of stuff that like you're seeing from far away, but it's just like there's definitely things that are scattered around that I think will piece a lot of the story, or at least the what the new TVA, or what some of the stuff around the TVA actually means. So that's pretty. That I think that there's a lot of stuff that you'll miss Easter egg wise. So, like I said, if you watched it once, give it another watch to see like what it is that you maybe have missed. I'm sure there's going to be YouTube channels and different things that'll say, "Oh, did you catch this Easter egg? Did you catch that one?" So we'll have to wait for those to come out. But I think it's going to be a very Easter egg heavy show, which is going to be fun because it's kind of fun to sit there and see like where they've kind of dropped little hints, and finding out what you can figure out, and then just seeing where they're going to go with it. Because I think that as far as this opening episode, it's as solid as it could be. Like there's really nothing that they did that left too much fat on the or too much fat on the meat. Like you just got the perfect amount of what you needed to get you involved, and now you're ready for the next one. So I think for me the hottest part is going to be waiting every week for it to come out, because I am one of those people who's like, if you put a whole season up and I can binge it, I will binge every second of it just to be able to. I got it all. So that the waiting is gonna be the hottest part with that show. But overall, I think it was really good. I think that they're setting up to make a really good season, and I do like that the episode length is an hour. Like you can't go wrong with that. There's a lot you can fit in there, and and the thing that I like about that is that you don't have to rush the stories; that you can take your time telling them. So that's, I think, a luxury that we don't respect enough when it comes to shows that are half hour or less. Sometimes they feel a little bit more rushed, but having 1 hour runtime, that's total runtime. That's not say the show's a whole hour, but to have a total runtime of an hour is good. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's what I said. I'm kind of looking forward to the next episode. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna rewatch this episode. I think I kind of paid attention very well. Um, like it's like the Loki stuff. I want to rewatch not Loki, the Ahsoka stuff. I want to rewatch the show. It's like you want to watch other stuff as well. So it's like, no, do I
Yeah,
watch it? Do I rewatch it? Or I'll watch something new. So you said like the Easter egg thing is gonna be cool to see people who do those videos talking about the Easter eggs, because I think I actually might watch those more than watching the show again because I won't be upset if I miss an Easter egg because I watched the episode and I just missed the thing. So I'm kind of happy with when I see those type of things if I've seen the show. So yeah, Loki's gonna be. I think Loki's gonna put the future of Marvel a little bit back on track. The reason why I'm saying it because I think it's going to lead to like Kang Dynasty. I don't know what else is going to come before Kang Dynasty, but I think it's going to lead there. When we get Captain America back, it would make sense since we get timelines split off all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so will we get Iron Man back, or will we finally get Riri? Who knows? But I think this will lead to a lot of stuff that I'm very happy to see. Um, so, like I said, I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't watched it. So, people who watched this on a rewind, hopefully you stayed because we're not trying to spoil Loki show
Yeah.
on the first, not even first full 24 hours of being out.
Nope. There'll be
Uh,
plenty of other channels are gonna do that for you.
yeah,
Like
they got oh, they got plenty. Probably tomorrow. Uh, well, probably tonight. Who knows? But they got plenty
oh,
in
yeah,
the
no,
next couple.
definitely people are gonna tell you exactly what happened the whole way through.
Yeah,
Um,
they're gonna be
just
plenty,
because
plenty of stuff that
the
we don't even
interesting thing.
follow.
Well, I think the interesting thing is gonna be, well, let's put it this way: if you follow people who potentially don't like or aren't really big fans, they're definitely gonna go ahead and spoil everything because like, like, and then this is how stupid this was, and this is dumb, and that's dumb. You know what I mean? Which some people will do that. I think overall though, I think that it's gonna be interesting to see what people say, just because I mean, I'm not somebody who just likes everything, but if something's good, I give it his credit. So I think that overall, I'd be surprised. I mean, I'd really want to listen to anybody who has a negative opinion about it, but I'd be surprised if anyone, I mean, really deeply didn't like the show. Like that I would be like, all right, please tell me what you saw that you didn't like, because I think that it's just really well done, and with it being episode one, it's a good building block for whatever's to come next.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna build up. So I would say I would tell people watch it too. If you kind of like you don't know if you want to watch it, kind of know some people might not be like, oh, I don't know, but I think it's a good watch. Tom, I can't even say his name. Tom Piddleston. How do you say his name? Piddleston.
Yeah, you said it right.
But he does justice to the character again. Um, so definitely a watch. I would say for everyone. Um, but uh, sad Ahsoka's over. We got to see where that leads to. Excited to see where Loki goes to for the next because how many? It's only like 6 episodes, huh? Loki only 6, I think.
Yeah, but it's 1 hour episode, so it's not too bad. I mean, as far as I mean, well, put it this way, it's 1 hour is the general length. Who knows if it'll be a little longer in some episodes, but 6 episodes, you're getting at least an hour a piece, so it's not too bad as far as the length is concerned. I think I
Yeah,
think that
if,
for
if, if we
what they
get
have,
closer to the if we get close to the hour mark, I won't be too mad.
yeah,
Because Ahsoka had at least one episode that was under 40 minutes.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it was like 38 minutes. So that could have actually been combined with another episode. Uh,
yeah.
but yeah. So if we get like 50-minute or more episodes, I'm good with 6.
Yeah, because I think that they're trying to find that sweet spot between, um, where they're not having too much filler, so that people aren't like, that this was a waste episode, or this was, just because initially where they would have, where the shows would be longer and have more episodes, people didn't like that shows weren't moving as quickly as they wanted, and then you had the opposite where it's like, well, these are short, smaller episodes, and there's less of them because you didn't want as many, and now it's like, well, but that left so much stuff unexplored. So I think this is kind of a good medium right there. I mean, would I like to see it be 8 episodes, 1 hour piece? Yeah, that'd be great. But if they're not going to do that, or if they have that plan where that's not really where they want to go because it'll give way too much, I'm fine with that.
Mhm. Well, I don't have anything else to say for tonight for this special episode of graphic content, everybody. Us talking the season finale spoilers of Ahsoka and non-spoilers of Loki episode 1. So, what is it? We doing? We doing a show next week, right? Is it next week?
I think so. Yeah.
It's
Should
next
be
week.
next Wednesday.
I can't remember. I have to look at
I mean, I mean, if we're going by the normal schedule, that
yeah, the
I know
normal
the
schedule.
day
Yeah,
would be.
normal schedule is next week. Yep. So, yep,
So
next week we'll be at the normal schedule. I think Loki's going to be falling on Thursdays, if I'm not mistaken,
yeah,
or will they
so
put
we
it on
won't have
Wednesday?
another Loki episode.
Yeah. So
But
we might talk a little spoilers, but we'll just talk everything and see what everything's going on next week. Um, yeah. Um, so it's going to be very interesting for Loki. So you got anything, Chris, you want to end with? You got going on?
um, nothing specific right now for my channel, but I will be on the hunt tomorrow. So come check that out on Tony Sanders' channel. You know, should be good show. Gonna have all I would say this, people that are, always on the show doing their thing. So it's gonna be some fun stuff. So come check us out on there.
Mhm.
And then uh I know on Sunday Bleak is doing the church show, so I'll probably pop into that. I don't know if it sounded like you had made mention that thinking about doing some type of sale this weekend, but that's probably changed now that you've had the procedure.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not. Well, I know they got the to shout out Sands. They're doing a charity auction tomorrow.
Mhm.
So definitely check that out. They're gonna have some good stuff, and it's going to the Adeline. I think it's Adeline. What is it called? Adeline. Let me tell you the exact name. Um, the Adeline Rose Foundation
Mm.
charity auction tomorrow night. Do they have a start time? I don't see a start time. I'm assuming it's starting like his normal auctions at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. So
Yeah,
definitely
probably.
check that out. I'm gonna try to go on there for maybe one to do one auction item. Um, but because I do have a claim sale, I'm gonna be on Instagram with Elite Comics 11, which will be a lot easier for me to be on because all I have to do is point the camera at the book and kind of like just present the, I don't have to like do a lot of work if that makes any sense. So I
Yeah.
can easily do that compared to the other auctions. So um yeah, so I'll probably be I'm definitely gonna be on there with Elite Comics 11. I think my time for that show is um I'll tell you exactly to be safe. Let's see. But yeah, I'll be on there tomorrow on Instagram. It's going to be, let's see, where's the times? Here we go. It's going to be 7:30 Eastern, 7:30 Eastern. So that's what my time's supposed to start. It might be a little bit later. I always shoot for a little bit later, but 7:30 Eastern is the time I'm supposed to be on there. So tomorrow I'll be slowly pricing books and doing that probably throughout tomorrow for that show. But I'll be on Sands, I think, for at least one round, to try to help out with the foundation. But definitely check me out on Elite Comics 11 on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, my tag is right there. You'll be able to see me there for tomorrow. The hunt, I'll be on there probably commentating. I don't think we have a match, which is good. I can kind of just sit back with the camera off and talk. So I'll be on there for that, just to chill, commentate. So definitely check out the hunt later. I think that's like 11 Eastern.
Yep.
Um, so I'll be good and drugged up for that show. um, and I don't think I'm going to be on Sands' auction this Sunday. So if you guys want to check out Sands' auction, you can Sunday. I think I'm going to take that day off. But I think I'll probably come on and just chat it up with Bleeker for church. It depends how I'm feeling when I wake up. But yeah, because I'm doing a lot tomorrow. So, I don't want to overextend myself. And my ice
Yeah.
is wearing off. So that's why I'm kind of like, I thought let's pass out. Um, but yeah, that's all we got. It did, like we said, next week, a regular show, graphic content. We'll get probably into the spoilers a little bit of Loki since we kind of talked about it a little bit. We're not gonna go too deep, and maybe predict what we think the next episode or two go with, and then we'll just talk about regular comic stuff. Man, they did some announcing for New Orleans Fan Expo, so I can bring that up next Wednesday. Um, and yeah, go from there, man. I appreciate everybody who stopped through. Please leave a thumbs up for graphic content. Myself, who that comes in. We got Boston Chris Comics, like always. It's not a graphic content without us together. An occasional guest that pops up. We'll see y'all later, people. Peace. Thank you, Chef, He Who Remains, and amongst others who stayed with us to the end. Thank you, guys. Peace out.
See ya.